So many of us look at the scales to see how we're doing in our fitness and our well-being. The scales are just one of many ways to get your victories, to see how you're doing. Think about how you're feeling in your sleep, in your stress levels, in your mood, in how you feel from nourishing your body with good food. How are you doing in your exercise? Are you able to lift more? Are you able to do more? Are you able to go up the stairs without being out of breath? Your daily movement, are you finding you're able to do more in your daily movement in less time? These are your performance indicators you want to look at. You could look at the scales, but they don't tell us everything. Quite often they just tell us how much water we're retaining. They do give us some ideas of how we're doing. Yes, they are a performance indicator. There's many other ways. You could use a piece of clothing. I have a dress I use, and I've used it for years, which tells me when I put on weight, lost weight, maintaining weight, and I just keep using the same dress. So find a piece of clothing. Those who do want to feel fitter and better, you could use a piece of clothing that you want to, a piece of clothing that feels snug, not too snug. Make sure it's achievable. You want to have a piece of clothing that is the one step for you to get into. Don't have a piece of clothing that feels really tight, just a bit snug. So that's your first step, and then you can go in steps to as you want. Now, if you are struggling and you're at plateau with all your performance indicators, not just the scales, have a think about a couple of things. So have a think about your movement. Think about how much you're moving. Have a think then how much you were moving 5 years ago. Have a think about how you were moving 10 years ago, 15, 20, 25. Very often we were moving more when we were younger. So if we are moving less, energy balance, it's all about those scales. We're moving less, and if we're eating the same, then we're going to be eating too much for energy expenditure. So that's when you can gain weight. Okay, I use weight as a term. Okay, so you need to think about your daily movement. Quite often now, a lot of us are working from home, so there's less movement. For example, even walking to the car, walking from the car to the office, walking up the stairs in the office, walking to see someone else in the office. A lot of people now are at their desk. When they want to speak to someone else, they press a button and they go into another Zoom room or another Teams room. So there's hardly any movement. So all those little bits of movement really add up with that energy balance. Energy out and energy in. So if we're eating the same, if not more, because we're at home, we're going to lose the balance. So you've got your weight loss, your weight maintenance, your weight gain. It's all about those scales. Think about your exercise. Think about how you exercised 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. How did you exercise? Did you exercise longer? Were you more intense? Did you do a different sort of exercise? If you find you are steadily weight gaining, it might be that you are naturally starting to slow down. We have this inherent thought that as we get older, we move less. So compare your energy expenditure 5 years ago to now. Is it different? And are you still eating the same? So if your energy expenditure was more then, and it's less now, and you're eating the same, the scales have gone a bit skew-iff. Thinking about movement, thinking about the intensity, your intensity. Are you more intense now or then? Just think about those little bits there and there. So that's about movement. So think about your food as well. So as we get older, maybe we're having more liquid calories of an alcoholic beverage. Think about how much you have to drink of alcohol now. Maybe you don't drink at all, so just switch off. Think about how much you drink now and how much you drank 5 years ago or 10 years or 15 years ago. If you're having that steady weight gain, is there a relationship there? Again, that's energy in, more energy in, and are we having less energy out? Are you having more convenience foods? Are you having richer foods? Do you comfort eat more? If you're moving less, are you sitting there in the evening and are you having those snacks? So all those little bits add up. I use my hands a lot. They all add up into the energy in, and you've got to think about your energy out. It's really simple. It's like a magic pill, energy balance. Where are you on that energy balance? Weight loss is when your energy out is more than your energy in. Your weight maintenance is when it's the same. And when your energy in is more than your energy out, you're going to gain weight. Because that's how our bodies work. And we need to take it all into our thoughts, into our thought process when we're doing it. Don't just use the scales. Please don't use the scales. Just use the scales. You can use other things, your energy, your mood, your stress, your clothes, your fitness. The scales will happen, but you have to be patient. It will happen, but it might not happen overnight. It might not happen in your first 2-3 weeks, but it will happen. Because you will soon, if you are on weight loss, you will soon find that calorie deficit that works for you. The aim is to basically eat as many calories as you can without weight loss. If you go down on your calories and you don't have enough calories, you're going to feel rubbish, you're going to feel tired, and then you're going to suddenly give up, and you are going to have something to eat or drink to replenish those missed calories, and very often what you choose isn't going to be very nutritional. I think we've all done it really, haven't we? So we don't want to be into that restrict system, and then we suddenly relax and binge on something that we think, oh, we shouldn't have done that, and then you restrict. So we don't want to be in that. We want to be in a nice, happy place where we feel happy with our nutrition. We can have the treats here and there. If it is weight loss, then you do need to think about your calories in. Tracking is always a good way to start. I know it's quite dull, but it's a good way to be informed about what you're eating, about your protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats. Anyway, I could talk about this forever. So don't just focus on the scales, focus on other measures. Think about what you're eating, think about how you're moving, compare it to 5, 10, 15 years ago, job done.